Why is abortion stigmatized?
It is a hot-button issue that politicians can use to get people on their side. It resonates deeply enough that either side becomes determined to act upon its call to action. Hence voters equals win.
Mostly because the point that life starts is very controversial and there is no confirmed answer as to when that is. Some people feel that it starts at inception, others feel that is not the case and it occurs much later in pregnancy. Abortion is a gray area in my opinion and can be a necessary medical procedure, but others feel that a woman should have the right to abort a fetus/child at any point in time and for any reason. The argument for when life starts can be a bit philosophical. So, in short, I think most of the stigma comes from the general lack of a real answer to when life starts.
It's literally just ignorance. Women have always had abortions. They've never been rare, and they are not realistically different from the 20% of pregnancies that end in miscarriage. Contempt for women is the real root of the stigma against abortion.
In the US, a lot of it traces back to politics. When Roe v. Wade was passed, every judge who did it had been appointed by Republicans. After Republicans lost the fight on segregation, they were looking for another hot topic to buy voters. And corrupt right-wing televangelists found it with the newly legalized abortion. They teamed up with Reagan and twisted some Bible verses together to falsely claim the Bible is pro-life, so they could call Democrats baby killers and firmly entrenched evangelical voters into the very un-Christ-like Republican Party. You have to bear in mind that most Christian leadership attends Christian colleges. And who runs those Christian colleges? Wealthy televangelists, who are basically the complete opposite of Christ. Abortion is something they use to keep those tax breaks while they amass their wealth. Because the term abortion is too broad, so it is easy for some to equate it to murder rather than healthcare, which is what it is. Interesting people who are so for small government and deregulation of everything are the same people taking women's rights through legislation. One less potential donator for the churches, I guess. How else do they get all the gold effigies? Short answer: thousands of years of sexism and religious prejudice against women.
Because religion.
Abortion should be a thing only people with a uterus have a say about. No man should tell a woman or other people with a uterus what to do with their body. This is not a thing us guys should have any say over, really. If a person with female anatomy doesn't want to be pregnant for 9 months and deliver a baby, that should be their choice. Of course it should be discussed between them and their partner, but in the end it will still be the choice of the pregnant person. I truly believe it's stigmatized so they can keep the poor poorer. Not everyone stigmatizes it. For the ones that do, it's often tied to old-fashioned views about sex in general, not just abortion. Fun fact: a fetus in some instances can be dangerous and life-threatening to the mother. We should have every right to terminate. Because some people have an easier time relating to something without a brain than with another conscious human being. Religion and its insistence in keep control over people. TBH. I think the way the public has initially reacted to the argument of Roe v. Wade is what escalated the issue. There are people who either believe or don't believe that abortion is murder. But there is another underlying belief factoring into this. For many men, they believe that society is pushing a very feminist wave, that it's not only acceptable, but encouraged for women to be liberal with their sexuality. Terms like "hefes" being twisted into a positive light, that it is right for a woman to sleep with as many men as she wants and everyone else should accept it. Whether you believe that idea or not is your choice. But a lot of men don't believe it and publicly push against that belief. When abortion steadily became more and more controversial, a trumpeting chant from pro-abortion women erupted. "My body, my choice." While that is the truth, more and more people hear that chant, associate it with the aforementioned feminist push, and perceive it as almost a rendition of, "Nobody tells me what to do." They see kids as a consequence. Side note, we really should stop seeing kids as consequences, or punishments, or any other negative thing. It's totally not right, for being erratically sexually active with little regard to the effects of that life. And now they think that women are using abortion to get out of the consequences of their own actions and keep living, pushing the feminist liberal lifestyle. I think that's another reason why abortion is stigmatized by people these days.
Religion and science collide.
To control women. Why else? Babies are precious. A bias enforced at the instinctual level. And sex is like fire. Powerful, but potentially quite dangerous. If someone is seeking an abortion, one reason for stigma is that some folks feel that it shows a lack of proper care and respect about sex, who you can have it with, and when. This notion of proper care doesn't involve things like body autonomy and consent. They're rooted in older paradigms, where a woman's fertility belonged to her family, which in practice usually meant her father, until it was given to her husband. As a point, most of these arguments are BS. Most of the time. Look into the phenomena of, "the only moral abortion is my abortion," for when anti-abortion activists find they need one themselves, and the assumptions they make to blame others but excuse themselves. Short answer. It's a patriarchal and puritanical need to control women's bodies and have used this debate to demonize AFAB people from trying to have control over their own bodies and access appropriate medical care. Long answer. People, particularly religious people who think that science is the devil's work, have a poor understanding of how the human body is formed, or women's bodies in general, and have puritanical ideas about sex. These two factors come together into the belief that the second sperm meets egg, that the collection of cells is suddenly ensouled, and thus ending the pregnancy is killing a life with a soul. They also believe that abortion care is only the intentional removal of a viable fetus, regardless of age, instead of the entire spectrum of pregnancy termination, either complete or incomplete, spontaneous or artificially induced. Couple that with the patriarchal need to keep women in line, and this is a convenient scapegoat to keep women and other AFAB people from doing things that they don't approve of, like having sex outside of marriage, despite the fact that a fair percentage of abortion seekers are indeed married, often with other children. People don't like watching someone with a uterus have agency over their own body.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.